Hello, this is Cheryl Wilson, and I went outside and it was really crispy air, and I just looked at all the leaves, and a lot of them had already turned brown, but there were still these beautiful colors of these yellows and rust, and even some green ones left, that I had to use that as my inspiration for today's painting, so I wanted to share it with you. Hello, my name is Cheryl, and I wanted to share with you what I was going to paint today, and I was inspired by going outside and feeling the crisp air outside and all the leaves that have fallen, and I was just enjoying the colors. So I took a picture of some of the leaves on my back deck, and I did a little video, but I gathered the leaves that the different colors. Some of the yellows and reds were hidden because it's gotten enough into the fall here that a lot of the leaves have turned brown. But as an abstract artist, I don't paint realistically, but that's just an inspiration for color for me. And I wanted to use regular brushes. My brushes are all very well used. I'm going to be using some sticks. Of course, I use sticks in a lot of my work, and some handmade brushes. And I'm going to be using thick body paint and some high flow, and then some regular fluid acrylics from Golden. And if I grab something else along the way, I'll tell you, but I thought I might mix it over here so you can see it. But I'm going to be using just a mixture. I'm going to start by wetting some of the paper. I love adding charcoal, so I think I may just kind of do maybe a leaf shape, although it will not end up like this. I'm going to some of those shapes are very interesting to me. So I'm going to wet that down. I love the high flows when they blend with the wet charcoal. So I'm going to start with adding just a couple colors over here. And I'm going to let the inspiration, that's quinacridone magenta, and this was a high flow. The high flow are the bottles that have that tip on it. That's a burnt sienna. That's a perfect fall color. I love this green gold, but I don't like it alone. I love it when it's mixed with another color. I got my blacks and my whites. I got a Titan buff. I am a huge fan of using whites and blacks. In fact, I'm going to just add some white right there. High flow white. And I'm even going to dip some black on the paper. I'm going to add some yellow and some nickel, azo yellow. These are all high flows. And some cadmium yellow, and this is just a regular fluid. I'm not even sure if that one's open yet. That's not even open. That's a new one. I don't use yellows a lot unless they are mixed with other colors, but they're beautiful. And I'm going to add, gotta have a little bit of red. This is the Pyro Red. just gonna... One thing I've learned is mixing your colors is the way to go when you want everything to blend. And then, even though I put that down immediately, when you blend, when you add a color that is the most intense color right out of the bottle on the top of your colors that are already blended, it adds an incredible pop. So even though I say to mix all your colors together, I love it when that pop is there. That is just kind of like a surprise pop. I'm going to make this kind of a moody look by rubbing some of these colors with my paper towel. I use a baby wipe or a paper towel a lot. There is no rhyme or reason about anything I'm doing. I'm just enjoying. So I'm going to mix some of this red and some of this green, which should give me a very muddy tomato color. I'm going to mix some of this brown with maybe a little bit of yellow. Maybe continue to look at add a little with the two yellows together with a dot of black, which should give me a beautiful green. That's a great way to get a green that you might like if you don't like, which I don't particularly like the green gold out of the bottle. I'm going to go to a thicker brush and I wet it, and I'm going to go into some of that green, and I'm just going to put it on my paper. So a good way to mix is if you mix any yellow and black, you're going to get a type of a green. So I'm going to bring some of the green gold with a little bit of the white. Gives it a very lighter color. Gives that another dimension. So this is going to end up being very abstract, and one of the things I love to do is to make the background as an underpainting. And then I will turn around and make use some thicker paints, which I will mark through on top. So I'm going to get some woodies. I'm going to get some regular markers. And this is a woody, oops, it's a thicker black pencil, crayon type. And I'm going to add some of my white, kind of bring some different values in. I'm going to put some white water. And you can see I'm basically playing. I'm going to add some of the Quin Gold and maybe a touch of white and a touch of yellow. And this just adds an additional pop. Like I said, I'm basically getting the underpainting painted, and I want to lighten this up over here. So I'm going to bring in some more white. Go to the trusty fingers. Just covering the paper. Just having fun. So I'm going to take some of the black on my fingers and even that right there is pretty. So if I were to add some more water on here and drop in some of the white. I'm going to have some blend. And then even if I were to drop in some of the yellow straight from the bottle, like I said, it's the purest intensity from the bottle. I'm going to get like a blooming effect. I have no control when I use the stick from the far end. Pop some of those bubbles. This is a tool that I made. It's a stick with some broom on the end. It gives a fun scratching appearance. And what I want is some of these colors just to start to blend back into each other. But some of them will stay the marks I make, some will blend into each other. I'm going to take a smaller brush and bring some of my circle marks in with some blended colors. And do I know where I'm putting these marks? No. I'm basically just looking around the painting saying, where do I feel like I want to add some of this red? And if I just splatter in some of the Quin magenta itself without blending it, it gives it it's a very light color, but again, when it's out of the bottle, it's the purest form of its intensity. Let's see, maybe we'll add in. So at this point, my inspiration of the leaves outside, it helped me just start the painting with the leaf shape, but I've just gone off by using, I did not let that be a constraint for me to keep me back from where I wanted to go on the painting. So at this point, I'm going to let this dry and we'll see where we're at. If you get a puddle in your painting, you can either let it dry or you can dab it a little bit, which is great because I'm bringing up some of that underneath marks. So there may be a couple places that I may want to do the same thing just to add some interest. The one thing you have to be careful with is that your paper towel doesn't make a mark you don't want. So I went outside and I grabbed some leaves. And I thought what I might do is, this is a pretty fresh leaf still. I may dip some of that in some of the colors, and I'm just playing. I mean, I have no rhyme or reason of what I'm doing. And I'm just going to lie that on like a focal point here. And it just made some marks. That's all I'm doing is transferring some marks. I like that stem, so maybe I'll add it up here with the stem. And that's all I'm doing is just adding marks and playing with it. I'm going to go in again with a charcoal and hold the charcoal at the end, and I'm just adding marks at this point. I have a lot of big spaces going on, so at this point I'm bringing in some smaller spaces. I want to mute down this one mark here, so I'm going to go in, bring that back a little bit. but I like some of the marks it made. I think I want some white in here, so I'm going to add some white. This is a gel pen. This really only works if the paper's dry. If you do this on wet paper, then it will kind of ruin your pen. So I'm going to go in and add very lightly with a rigger brush. A rigger brush is a brush with a very long end. And I'm just going to make some random marks. If you do white against the dark, you're getting your biggest here. The eye's going to love that because you're doing light against dark. I'm going to go in with a final mark, and then I'll show you what I think this is going to end up look like. I like to go in like with a thicker paint, and I'm going to use titanium white and a palette knife. And I'm just going to make a swipe or two, and that's really all I'm going to do. I'm going to let that dry, and might for just fun just add a little bit of, you don't know, I don't like that, but I am going to maybe take some of this. There, that's all I wanted to do. Let me knock some of that back. So, I'm liking that. When that dries, I may, because I don't like it something just laying on top, I may take my pencil and draw a little bit of the lines on top, but I'm going to dry this first. So here's the finished painting, and I put a mat over it because it always looks better with a mat. And I have on the right hand side a view of it up close so you can see all the markings. I hope you try this. It's a very fun painting. It's a very simple, you saw how quickly I did it. The trick is to ensure the underpainting for me has some thinner watery layers, and then as you build the layers, they get a little thicker, and then the very top has a thick, swipe with the palette knife. So let me know if you try it. I really had a good time creating this one. I wasn't sure I was going to get a video out this week because I had a lot going on. My dad got sick, but he's much better. And so I worked on this video this morning. It wasn't the one I was going to do for you. I have that in the midst. I didn't finish that one. But I hope this one was fun. It was fall inspired. I think it was, ended up being a beautiful painting. And so I hope you try. Let me know. Do a thumbs up if you give it a try. Give a thumbs up if you want me to keep going. I'm still trying to build my channel very one person at a time. So I appreciate everyone who subscribes, everyone who leaves a comment, and everyone who encourages me. It means so much to me.